Here we are. Welcome to Catalyst Energies. Thank you for joining me. I'm so grateful that you're here. This is your daily catalyst for July 22nd, 2020, and we are officially in Leo season. Yay! I am actually very excited about this, although it can be a very overwhelming and intense experience. The sun today, 0 degrees Leo. Now keep in mind, the Sabian symbol for 0 to 1 degrees of Leo is blood rushing to the head. So please take care of yourselves. If you have a headache today, remember, migraine headaches are from circulation, increased circulation of blood flow to the brain, okay, into the skull, into the head. So just take care of yourselves. Remember that it's going to be a rush of blood to the head, all right? Something to keep in mind. Now, the moon is still in Leo. We'll be moving into Virgo today. This is going to be taking all of that incredibly potent, spiritual, solar fire energy of Leo, this regal, sovereign, creative, passion, lust, all of that stuff that goes along with Leo and the sun. When the moon moves into Virgo today, this is going to be a great time to get all of that stuff organized now and use that as a way to analyze really how we feel, our emotions, analyze those subconscious motivations, analyzing our dreams. The dreams have been off the hook. I'll talk a lot more about that in the daily medicine reading. If you're interested in that, you can link to the Facebook page for Catalyst Energies in the description box below in order to have access to that. I do live readings every day on these intuitive messages that I receive and transmit to all of us. Anyway, so the moon in late Leo. Now, Leo, combustion and release. The second half of Leo is the release part. Now, as you see here, quincunx, all of the Capricorn crew today. So that means Jupiter, that means Pluto, that means Saturn, all retrograde. Okay, quincunx, 150-degree angle. This is an inconjunct. This is a square peg in a round hole. This is like the number 7 in numerology or in the tarot. This is an all is lost moment, seemingly, because they are elements that just absolutely can't line up. So an adjustment is absolutely necessary. So when we get to late Leo like this, things are getting really hot and really worked up and very sure of itself and very ready to transmit the spiritual messages, the spiritual energy. Remember, fire is the creative potential. It is the spiritual essence at work, whereas water is the spiritual essence of us from an emotional and intuitive perspective, which is what the moon represents. So we have the moon in the sign of her divine counterpart, the sun, right, and interacting together in order to come together really and synthesize this very creative energy. Or synthesize in order to elicit this very creative energy. So when the quincunx to all the Capricorn energy, which is the changing of the guard, the extraction of all of the underlying power structures there, the change in leadership, especially with Jupiter retrograde. Jupiter is expansive. It is mastery. It is good fortune and abundance, and it is focusing always on the big picture. With it retrograde, we're focusing with that within, and there's a leadership quality with Jupiter. Remember, Jupiter and Zeus was the leader. He was the head of everything in terms of the cosmology of Greek and Roman mythology, which is where all these archetypal symbols come from for astrology. So remember that Jupiter retrograde, there's a shift in the leadership. And when we're talking about Capricorn, we're talking about the institutions of power. We're talking about the government, the economy, our culture in a way. So, and then you have Saturn also here that is retrograde in its home sign, making it very real, making it almost too real to avoid looking at. We have to address, and within us as well. Again, Saturn's retrograde, so turning the lens within and looking at the structures of reality that are operating within us and then also outside of us, but again, retrograde. So another big transit happening today, Mercury in Cancer is sextile to Uranus in Taurus. This degree is really really great. It is a clown caricaturizing well-known personalities. Okay, now we're talking about Mercury. Mercury is the realm of the mind. Mercury is the magician. It is the master of the logos, right? It is the way that we use our mind, the way that we use information, the way that we communicate with each other. My friends, this degree is meme magic. Meme magic. And laughter absolutely is a deconditioning tool. It allows us to not only laugh at ourselves and the absurdity, it also allows us to laugh at other things and its absurdity. And caricaturizing is exaggerating features that are already exaggerated. So a clown is the sacred trickster. So, and so is Mercury, is the trickster. This has meme magic written all over it today. And in sextile to Uranus in Taurus, Uranus is the path of the Great Awakening. Uranus is the collective third eye. And Taurus is the actual physical reality around us. It is the resources that are around us. It is the physical earth that is around us. And the path of this awakening is disruptive. It is very revolutionary with Uranus. It is futuristic. And it is not an easy path. But in Taurus, it has been certainly disrupting all of the physical material reality that we live in, right? But it also is suggesting that the path to our awakening as a collective, opening the collective third eye, has to do, especially at this degree, 11 degrees Taurus, of cultivating the garden of our mind. Oh my gosh, have you ever seen, there is a channel on YouTube called Melody Sheep, and that person does all of these mashups and little songs of these famous cultural icons. Excuse me. And there's one with Mr. Rogers, and it's about growing things in the garden of your mind. It is fantastic, but that's exactly what I think of. Have you ever tried to grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can, I can't remember the exact line. I'm going to link it to this video though, because it is so fantastic. And that's really what's going on here collectively. The garden of the collective mind is where Uranus is at. And the sextile here, this is a harmonious connection that requires our participation in some way. The clown caricaturizing well-known personalities, using laughter and humor to decondition the seriousness that we all have about what's going on. Absolutely in a supportive relationship with this garden of the collective mind that we have to nurture and cultivate in order to grow that consciousness. And with the fact that Twitter recently has started just blanket banning certain accounts right now that have to do with certain political views. Meme magic is, and the use of memes and the use of humor is an important tool right now in order to cultivate this collective garden of the mind, okay? So that's today as well, Mercury, sextile Uranus. And then, yeah, like I said, the moon in late Leo is just quincunxing all of the Capricorn, is quincunxing Neptune in Pisces. It is late Leo. This is where things are getting really royal and very expressive, and very much about the release of the energy, the creative energy. The combustion has happened already and is giving us a very emotional and intuitive preview of what this Leo season is going to look like. But now that the sun is here, this is the first step, the blood rushing to the head. So just be mindful of that. And there's a way to use that constructively, but there's also the potential for that to really just take us over and also just, make our heads explode in some way, right? So the other thing too is the moon will also, not only will it quincunx in conjunct with Saturn in Capricorn, at the same time is going to, look at this, sextile the North Node in Gemini. So again, sextile, a harmonious relationship that requires our participation to get the most energy out of it. 29 degrees Gemini is the first mockingbird of spring. The 29 degrees of Leo is a mermaid emerging out of the ocean, ready to take human form. It is the moment where an unconscious thought is rising up out of the ocean, an inspired, magical thought, right? A mermaid. And it's interesting that the mermaid is half human, half fish. So there's this connection, right, with human form and the form of Pisces in some ways, of a being that dwells within the imagination and also dwells within the collective unconscious. It's rising up and ready to take human form, very much like the Little Mermaid. Sextile, where the North Node is, our collective karmic destiny. Again, there is stuff coming up out of the collective unconscious right now that is very inspired, very passionate, and is not at all fitting with what seemingly is not fitting at all with where this Capricorn energy is right now, which is a consistent breakdown of the matrix of 3D and the old structures. Now, that doesn't mean that there's no way to, well, it does mean there's no way to resolve it, but it does necessitate an adjustment in our perspective. And especially with the moon here, it's talking about our personal feelings and our intuitive nature and our dreams and the realm of the subconscious. So keep that in mind, that there are things coming out of the subconscious realm personally as well as collectively, which will become much more apparent later in the month as the sun comes over these points as well. But for now, it's the stirring in the subconscious, and it's the stirring underneath, and it's in our feelings right now. So just keep that in mind. That is going to necessitate an adjustment on a personal and intuitive level today. And so the moon will move into Virgo tomorrow, and then that's going to be a really good opportunity, like I said, to start getting our feelings organized, to start analyzing our intuitive process and what's in our subconscious, and really prepping us for the days ahead, of course, but also when the moon moves into Libra, and we want to then start transfiguring things in order to find a balance in relationships. And that's going to be over the weekend. So it's an incredible day. There's a lot going on already, and remember to be using humor, and laughter is a deconditioning step, and it is part of the collective garden of the mind that we are cultivating for this awakening process. So just keep that in mind. Make sure to be laughing, using all of the tools at your disposal to disarm the seriousness of things through laughter. Absolutely. This is important. Remember, Mercury is the magician. So this is the Daily Catalyst for today, July 22nd. Thank you so much for joining me. Everything you need is in the description box below. If you're interested in a reading, please reach out through email, through Facebook, DM, through Instagram. You can do all of those things, and we can get that situated. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.